according to the internet, James Wan has signed on to direct the new Friday the 13th movie, and it is going to be the greatest Friday the 13th movie in the history of every fucking movie that's ever been made. Really? What's going on, everybody? Being a little facetious in the intro there, but that's really what I've been reading. Let's talk about what actually was said in the article and what that actually could mean for the Friday the 13th franchise. Obviously, we are all salivating at the mouth right now for a new Friday movie. It's been stuck in developmental hell and legal battles, and we finally got, we might get a TV series. We're probably getting a TV series. It's coming out. When's it coming out? I don't know. So we're just like anchoring for news here, right? Well, an article came out yesterday on March 1st, and it said some things that got some people excited, got some people scared because of who's involved and things like that. Let's dive into what was actually said. So this article comes from Collider, and it is titled Jason Blum. That's right, that Jason Blum of Blumhouse, everyone's favorite horror production company, the guy that saved the Halloween franchise, depending on who you are, or killed the Halloween franchise, depending on who you are. That guy says Jason Blum wants James Wan to shepherd his Friday the 13th remake. So some interesting shit right there, just in the headline, considering who is involved and all that. Before I get into this article, comment below if you want Blumhouse touching Friday the 13th, if you want James Wan directing a Friday the 13th movie. I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, James Wan is not going to direct a Friday the 13th movie. It just ain't going to happen. Never say never, right? Well, I'm telling you guys, it ain't going to happen. There's many reasons for that, which we'll get into. But be careful what you read, because people just take a headline like this and, go off with it. It's off to the races, right? Because everyone wants to be, holy shit. It's just like, calm down, read the fucking words that are spoken, read what is in between the lines, what is not being said, and use your fucking brain. Okay? All right, let's get into this. It says, Blumhouse has been eyeing Jason Voorhees revival for some time. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to kind of skim through here and then just kind of give my thoughts, but let's start at the opening here. Let's get rid of some of these articles here. It's no secret that Blumhouse has been eyeing the Friday the 13th franchise for some time now. Last year, Jason Blum reaffirmed his desire to revive Jason Voorhees and return to Crystal Lake once more, especially since the horror icon hasn't had a new film since the 2009 reboot. Thanks to a messy dispute, blah, blah, blah. We already know about that shit. Don't want to get into the legal mumbo-jumbo here, so let's skip that. But let's get to the meat and bones of it here. It says, in a recent interview with Collider's Perry Nemiroff, sorry if I'm butchering your name, Perry, for his upcoming horror flick, Imaginary, Blum was asked about the one project he wishes he could greenlight right now for his production banner. And he says, Friday the 13th is what I would do, he answered. It's not a Blumhouse project, but I'm trying to will it into being one. It's just one piece of IP I've always loved. For him, the obvious answer for the director was his new business partner, James Wan. And James Wan and the Atomic Monster are very passionate about it, and I think we would have them shepherd it for us. It would be a lot of fun. So it mentioned there, he wants James Wan to direct. That's not what he said, though. He said James Wan's production company, Atomic Monster, I think it was, he would want to shepherd it because Blumhouse and Atomic Monster are basically partners now, right? Having James Wan production company partner with Blumhouse does not mean James Wan would direct a Friday the 13th movie. Couple of things here. Number one, James Wan's a fucking brilliant director. I actually think he is the kind of John Carpenter of this generation. Now, I'm not saying he's John Carpenter, relax, people. But look at some of the movies he's done. from the first two Conjuring movies, which are fantastic, the first Insidious movie, which is great. James Wan has done some of the greatest horror films of the last 20 years. He directed Aquaman, all kinds of shit that's just widely successful. I really think, as far as building tension and setting up a scene and things like that, right now, currently, there is nobody better than James Wan. There's a lot of talented directors out there, but I think James Wan is the best. So James Wan and Friday the 13th, like I said, people are going to be salivating at the mouth. It ain't going to happen. First of all, Friday the 13th is not that franchise. Yes, it needs to set up tension. It needs to set up a scene. It needs to not have just stupid jump scares with loud noises, right? But the DNA of Friday the 13th, yes, it is suspenseful, but it's a slasher franchise. Now, things can evolve, things like that, but I just don't think James Wan is the guy for this. Now, his production company is a different story. If Blumhouse gets the rights and if Atomic Monster, signs on to shepherd this, as Jason Blum said, that's all he said was shepherd this. That just means kind of run things. It doesn't mean that James Wan can't handpick a director to direct this. That's part of his production company. There's a lot of, pieces to the puzzle that can be arranged in a certain way, but I don't think James Wan himself is going to come down and direct a Friday the 13th movie. Number one, he's probably pretty damn expensive. And if you're going to make a Friday the 13th movie, whether it's a sequel, whether it's a reboot, whatever, you're going to want to save some money, right? You're going to have to do this on the cheap, which Blumhouse is a master at, right? They've been doing that for years, just churning out cheap horror movies for a profit. That is what they do. That is what the production company has built their fortune on. James Wan, the guy that directed Aquaman, yes, he does a lot of horror, he loves horror, but the guy that directed Aquaman, is not the person you want if you're trying to churn out a profit for a horror franchise. And we don't even know what the box office is going to be like if and when this would happen. As far as, streaming and all kinds of things, the budget, everything that goes into that, there's so many unknowns, So, yes, it would be awesome to have James Wan direct a Friday the 13th movie. Everything I said before about him maybe not being the guy, if he was the guy, if he signed on for this, I would be excited. But we got to read between the lines of what the actual article is saying. Forget about the fucking headline. Forget about the retweets of what people are saying. James Wan is not going to direct a Friday the 13th movie. I'm here to tell you guys that right now. If James Wan does direct a Friday the 13th movie, I will give everyone that likes this video $20. That's how confident I am. It's not going to happen. Would I be happy if it happened? Yes, because like I said, I love James Wan. I think he's fucking brilliant as far as directing goes. But it's just not going to happen. I think best case scenario here, best case, depending on who you are, because depending on how you feel about Blumhouse, I guess. But best case scenario, if you want James Wan involved in this, is Blumhouse picks up the IP, signs up with Atomic Monster, whatever the hell it's called, James Wan's company, and James Wan handpicks a director, whether it's whoever. I don't even think Lee Winnell would probably do it. I think they're more into other types of horror movies. But I think there's a better chance of Lee Winnell directing this if Atomic Monster and Blumhouse are involved than James Wan himself. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this. I just see rampant shit on social media, just people running wild with a headline without even bothering to look into it. And it's like, holy shit. So I don't know if any other videos are out on this. I just saw the article come through last night, saw what people were saying, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, people, relax a little bit. That being said, guys, I'm with you. I am salivating at the mouth. I'm drooling for Friday the 13th news. I love this franchise. Can't wait for it to be revived. If I had my choice, I would choose friend of the channel, Vincent DeSante of the Never Hike Alone series. Check out my video with him. I did an interview with him, about an hour interview a couple months ago. Check that out. He gave a lot of good insights on his thought on the franchise and what he did with Never Hike Alone. If it was up to me, give the franchise to him. Let him go with it. But it ain't gonna be James Wan, I'll tell you that. Now, Blumhouse, on the other hand, I wouldn't put it past them to get the rights to this, because that's what they do. And then we're going to see everyone up in arms and, talking about the Halloween trilogy and all kinds of shit. But for me, give it to DeSante. Let everything else take care of itself. But be careful what you read. Read the actual article. Do your own research. See what was said. I'm excited for Friday the 13th. I'm just glad we're finally getting things to talk about. I'd like to get a new movie to talk about. Hopefully soon. So thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.